assault and batteries, but my trunk stay ever ready. Assault and battery, if you scared, you never ready.
Alright, today's video is going to be about The Undertaker, and like the title says, I feel, in my opinion, Undertaker losing his streak has killed WrestleMania. I feel like there was so much aura and there was so much lore behind what the streak represented and what The Undertaker represented at WrestleMania, and having the streak broken, I feel like WrestleMania was never really the same after that. Especially because The Undertaker came back for WrestleMania 31, WrestleMania 32. I don't remember what he did at WrestleMania 32, but it was just so like up in the air, everything, you know. And then WrestleMania 34 with John Cena, and then WrestleMania 35 with Roman Reigns. It wasn't something that should have gone longer than WrestleMania 30. And if you did want to have him lose at his last WrestleMania and have him retire, I think it would have been a great way to kind of put like the final seal on his career. But you know, they had Brock Lesnar beat him in a very lackluster match, and I know he had a concussion at the beginning, so I'm sure it wasn't, you know, the match wasn't supposed to, you know, go the way it did. But just the idea of having Brock Lesnar break the streak, and I get what they say, that they justified it so much where Undertaker thought that there was really no one else who was believable, and Vince McMahon made the call, Undertaker approved it. But what a shitty mistake. You know, I think it's right up there with like turning Stone Cold Steve Austin heel, turning John Cena heel, and it's right up there. And right up there as one of the worst decisions ever made by the WWE, I think, and one of the worst business killers as well, because again, WrestleMania wasn't the same after that, you know, and being there live and seeing, you know, again, there's two sides to this. The moment was incredible. I'll never forget. Honestly, it was like a fever dream. It was like as soon as that 1, 2, 3 happened, after like you didn't even realize how many F5s Brock Lesnar hit on the Undertaker. You just knew that it was a lot, and you know, like every other WrestleMania, you hit Undertaker with whatever finisher you want, he was going to kick out. But when that 3 count hit, it was like a shock. And then there was like that dead silence and no one knew. And to me, I know this is a thing that goes around, but I don't remember the bell even ringing. I was like, I think everyone was in such shock that like it had to be a mistake. Something happened. Maybe Undertaker got knocked out. But then when you saw 21-1 written on the Titantron, like on the big screen, that's when you knew something happened. And WWE is so smart that they waited a little bit before announcing the winner of this match, Brock Lesnar. And that's when it hit you. Like it was like a slap in the face that, damn, like wake up, like this isn't a dream. Brock Lesnar has beaten The Undertaker and has ended the streak at 21 wins and 1 loss. And, you know, there was a picture Steve Miguel and I took that went viral of us crying. And it was just nuts. But, you know, that's the plus side. It created a moment in our life, not even as a wrestling fan, but in my life as like a 36-year-old man who watches wrestling, who's going to go on and tell, you know, his kids about like the day Undertaker lost his streak and what that moment was like. And, you know, you can't replicate that. You can't make this story up. And to think on the other side where it happened, people were pissed. And I think anything after that, you know, thank God Daniel Bryan won the belt, because you literally had people leaving the building. The New Orleans, what was it called? The Mercedes-Benz Superdome. People were leaving the building. People were that pissed off. And I remember Twitter was blowing up. Instagram was blowing up. People couldn't believe it. And, you know, people were genuinely upset. Of course, the end of the night, everyone was fairly happy with Daniel Bryan winning. But there was almost like an eerie feeling leaving, knowing that, sure, Daniel Bryan won, but also we may have just seen the last of The Undertaker. And they kind of built it up where he, you know, he walked out on his own. Apparently he fell, you know, as soon as he got back to the curtain, but everyone thought that was the last of The Undertaker. And since then, you know, he came back the year after and faced Bray Wyatt. Kind of had that half like hair going on, so he didn't even really look like himself. And then, to be honest, I couldn't even tell you what he did at WrestleMania 32, WrestleMania 33. I don't remember, because the thing is, after that WrestleMania 30 match, things just kind of faded off to me. They did not really live up to any expectation, any sort of hype. WrestleMania 34, I remember, with John Cena, and then, of course, him facing Roman Reigns. It was just not what I expected. And even with Roman Reigns being shoved down everyone's throats at that time, that was something else as well. It was like, what a shitty move, especially for Roman, to like have to deal with that, where people don't like him as it is, and now you're going to be the one to end the Undertaker's streak. So he was like 22, I guess, 23-2 is what he finished off as. It just didn't. I just feel like it was just a missed opportunity. If you really wanted him to win, have it be like 23 wins or 24 wins and 1 loss. But but having 2 losses on his thing just doesn't make sense. And I think it really killed anything that WrestleMania really represented. And it's like people can, wrestlers can strive to get another streak, and you knew it would never happen, but you can always have that guy who's gonna like creep up on the streak year after year. Thing is, you have guys like Braun Breaker, you have guys like Dominic Mysterio, guys who are young enough that they'll be there in 20 years, that they could go undefeated at WrestleMania if they really wanted to. You had Edge do it for a little while, but there's no way he's going to catch up. But you knew that there was like something that he could work for, and having the Undertaker streak there as like almost like a milestone that you can achieve, it's just something that may have made something more interesting for storylines going forward. But they killed it off, and to me, it just, things haven't been the same. And although WrestleMania, I think they're kind of going a different direction, especially in the Triple H era, where I guess these stats really don't matter and it's more of like a realism thing, much like AEW. It's just incredible that so many years later people still talk about it. I still think about that day when the streak ended. Every time you see Brock Lesnar, you always think about the Undertaker streak. But just to me, it just killed WrestleMania. It just, things haven't been the same. It's like you had your main event, you had your Shawn Michaels match, you had your special attraction, maybe with a celebrity, but then you had your streak. Those are like the 4 things you can always count on that WrestleMania could deliver. And all 4 of those things were main attractions, whether it be a Floyd Mayweather versus Big Show match, Edge versus Undertaker streak, that was the main event as well. But then also you had like the John Cena and Triple H and WrestleMania 24, for example, just one example to like give you an idea of what I'm talking about. But Batista versus Undertaker is probably one of my favorite matches. It was at the time my brother's favorite wrestler versus my favorite wrestler. I feel like that was really the peak of my wrestling fandom as well, 2007. But just so many memories with the Undertaker, and it was always like with the streak attached to it, because you knew it wasn't going to end, but there was always like that possibility. Especially with like Kane, the return of WrestleMania 20, Randy Orton at 21, you had Mark Henry at 22, Batista at 23. Like, damn, so many good matches, so many memorable matches. And again, it was always like, will this person break the streak? And you could have gone a few more years, maybe build some guys, whatever. But no, Brock Lesnar had to break it. And to be honest, to me, it didn't really do much for him. I think his career would have been completely fine without breaking the streak. So it's not like anyone really benefited from it either. So, just my opinion. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the next video.